Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Scene Snobs Reviews. We are doing this in a new format, and we appreciate you guys watching. So we're going to start doing our movie reviews. Ooh, move the mic in front of me. That'd be good, right? So we're going to start doing our movie reviews. In lives like this, and then we'll have them cut up and stuff. And of course, we have our written reviews. You can follow us over on Letterboxd, and we appreciate it. Patreon, we share out stuff there, our reviews and stuff there too, so exclusive ones as well. But so we figured we'd start doing this because we're going to move to the podcast having more deep discussion into the topics and stuff like that. We'll still do our top fives on there, but we want to save some more time for our thought-provoking absurdity that we have going on. And but yeah, now we're doing this, and we appreciate you if you're watching along. Please feel free to share in the comments how you feel about the movie, and I'll look at them at the end and stuff like that. But yeah, let's get to it. So the first movie I want to review tonight is Y2K. It's Kyle Mooney's newest movie. He's serving as director, and he also directed Brigsby's Bear. I have not seen that. I do want to go out and check it out. It's on my list of movies to watch that were recommended to me, and I'm excited for it. This one, I went into it very excited because I was a Y2K kid. I was 17 going on 18 that year, graduating high school. So, and I was one of the ones that got all into it, and like the whole oh yeah, the world's is going to shut down at midnight. It was crazy. So I thought this was a lot of fun in the nostalgia world of playing up that time, which I recognize really well. So it's going into it very excited. I did not really know where they were going to go with it. I just stayed away from the trailers more than I read about it. So yeah, going in, I had no real idea what to expect, and I was kind of blown away by how they did it. He directed a really good movie here, and it's such a fun concept. So like I really want to get into more the art direction side of it. They build out the technology and how Sword is taking over, and it's very reminiscent of another movie that kind of reminded me of this. Weirdly enough, it's a Christmas horror movie, which is Await Further Instruction. But this had, of course, the more lighthearted feel with the comedy added to it. But it is pretty brutal at times. There is no shortage on the horror in this, and I really like the practical effects and where it went with it. So, but the sets they built for this and how they were working in how that worked with the practical effects that were built into those sets, and of course, visual effects that you needed to put all this together. Really well done for what's supposed to be like a low budget indie from A24. Like, it's really well done. So I really enjoyed this a lot, but I was tired about the nostalgia trips they kept taking us on. I feel like a lot of it's almost like That 70s Show caused it, where it was great when they were doing it, and it was like Happy Days kind of perfected that and sort of parroting a time frame, whereas That 70s Show was clearly parroting Happy Days. So that was fun for the moment. That was fun for the time, something different. But now when I look back at a lot of these movies that are coming out and stuff like that, it's just very it's kind of tiresome. It's like over nostalgia. It's like a movie that did it really well, that didn't have this overly nostalgic tone to it, but had a good feel for it, was Summer of '84. And that's the last time I feel like that bridge was gapped. Now it's just pushed too much. And they did that a lot with this one as well. And I kind of wish they didn't. And actually, it's weirdly enough, it does reference That 70s Show. So, getting in on the joke, but it was almost too much. I don't know. It took me out of it sometimes. I was just kind of like, all right, I'd rather feel like I'm living this period than kind of being smacked in the face with the period of that time, So that was just some of my thoughts on that. The comedy was good. I laughed a lot, but there were times where it slowed down, and it just it kind of drug. I was like, let me get to the next part. I want to get to more action. It kind of had that feeling of Scream, where it was like there's a little too much time between all the deaths, I would have liked it a little bit more faster pace if rather than setting up this like sort of love story and other stuff. But it did have some good heart and tone to it. But this my rating for it is 3 out of 5. I say check it out. That's a pretty good rating for me. And A24 A24 and I have like a love-hate relationship. I love them. I love what they do. And I appreciate so much of what they put out. But there are times where I'm just like, I can't do it. But this was one I definitely say go check out from A24. Well done, and I enjoy it a lot. So that's my review of Y2K, whether you're checking this out as a clip or you're watching the show live now or later. Thank you so much. And let's go on to the next one. A Complete Unknown. The Bob Dylan story of sorts. But I do want to say this as I get started. Because I got a lot to say. And supposedly, so James Mangold had co-written the screenplay with Jay Cox. And it's based on the 2015 book, Dylan Goes Electric, by Elijah Wald. So I don't know what liberties were taken in that book. I didn't read the book. So for me, I'm basing my review off of a movie that was based off of that book, not Bob Dylan's life, because I have not looked into it at all. And I like his music, I like some of his music, and I appreciate it, and I guess never really knew the story until now. But here, let's get into it. So I have some notes on this one. So the music's very good. I do like Bob Dylan's voice, and I like a lot of those old folk songs that Edward Norton. Other than Joan Baez and Johnny Cash, I'm really not going to know anybody's name in this movie, and I'm going to have a hard time, other than Bob Dylan too. So basically the celebrities. But for me, this movie was just kind of like, it was very boring. I just have to say, like, I was bored by the whole thing. Honestly, it didn't even feel like there were challenges in it. I feel like he got off the bus in New York City, and just everything sort of worked out for Bob Dylan. I'm not saying, again, that's what the man's life was. I'm sure it wasn't. But it was so dry. And I don't know what we were getting from here. Like, the music was good. Timothy Chalamet looked like him, and I guess acted like him. I don't know much about Bob Dylan. I've seen him in some interviews and such, but he was older by that point. But he looked like him, sounded like him, and it was fun. It was fun, like, kind of reliving some of those moments. But you watch, even comparatively to a biopic that came out that still wasn't that great for me, but there were good performances in it, was the Elvis one that had come out. And comparing it to that, like, Elvis, I can appreciate because there was some turmoil. There's stuff he had to go through. Bob Dylan just kind of seemed like he coasted. And in this movie, again, based on this book. So I don't know what you expected here. Like, I hope this isn't up. Like, the costumes are good. This should probably be up. And the set design, I made sure to put that down in my notes. Again, the music was great. And Bob Dylan was a dick. He was a dick throughout. So, like, everything worked out for him, and he was just kind of a jerk to everybody for no reason at all. A friend and some of his, like, managers asked him to sing old music, and he tore it up and pissed a lot of people off. He was just a dick throughout. I don't mean to give such an impassioned review on this, but like, that was like the last one I watched earlier, and I just walked away from it like, why was he such a jerk to everyone? That was the one thing I couldn't understand. Why was this man such a jerk to everyone and trying to screw everyone over? But there was never any real draw. There was never any real heart between anybody. I never felt like he was in love with anybody, or anybody was really in love with him, or that anybody cared about anybody else. And he lied all the time. His whole life was a lie. So based in this book, based on this movie, based on this book. So again, I don't know the man, so I don't know what to expect here. If this gets anything, like, I like James Mangold. Man, this is not another good one. He does not have some good ones coming out lately. It's like a Guy Ritchie effect right now. But yeah, I don't know. It for me, this was just a huge miss. I gave it a 2 because, again, the technical of the movie was fantastic every step, but the performances, there was nobody in the cast I really even cared about. Like, there was no draw for me in this. It's just a movie I just sort of watched. So it's a 2 out of 5 for me. I mean, I guess check it out. If you like biopics, you might like it. But if you like the music, I'm sure you really will. But other than that, thanks for watching this. If you're watching this as a clip later, or you're watching this live now, thank you so much. But let's get on to our next one. Another one. Oh, you had me at Werewolves. You had me at Werewolves. Then you had me at Frank Grillo. That's the thing. Like, there are action stars I will definitely watch. Michael Jai White. If Michael Jai White's in a movie, I'm watching him. Frank Grillo, 100%. They're awesome action stars. They really are, and it's just fantastic to watch their movies, and as much stunt goes into them and things like that. And there's so much respect for that world, and I love the stunt world. So watching those practical stunts and going in and just being celebrated is just amazing. So that's why Fall Guy was like one of my top movies from this year. So, but Werewolves, I love Werewolves. I will watch if you tell me anything. I think there's an undervalued subgenre right there is werewolf movies. It is. We need more. We need good writers stepping in and making more. And it looks like they are, because I really enjoy Werewolves. It is, I wouldn't even call it a horror comedy. It's a horror action movie for sure. Frank Grillo. Well, okay, so let me give you the setup of what the movie is. So the world had a supermoon one year, and it had this crazy effect on people's DNA, and it turned like one-third of the population into werewolves, and they tore things up. Like, it was a disaster. Nobody was ready for it. So fast forward through the year, they've been trying to figure out cures, how to handle it, all this other stuff. Frank Grillo plays one of the scientists that and Katrina Law plays one of the other scientists that have been working on this throughout the year, because they know the next supermoon that's coming up they'll probably set it off, and they want to see if they've cured it, but they have to be ready for it. So you see them purge, like getting their houses and stuff ready just in case. It's craziness. And when it starts and you see him like building up the house and like fortifying everything for his family, you're like, okay, yeah, purge. Like, but this is like low level poor purge. This is like what I'd have to do, not like Ethan Hawke's character in the Purge. Like, yeah, all right, I have to, barbed wire or whatever, figure it out. So it was pretty cool to see it all put together like that. Very clever. And I really dug the story, how it kind of brought, once everything goes to hell and the werewolves come out and they look cool. Very Dog Soldier-esque, but I kind of like them better in this. I feel like, of course, that was over 20 years ago. So, but if you bring it to now, it's evolved into this, and I really dig it. I kind of like how the mount of the costume worked and things like that. So it was very cool idea of how those put together. So Frank Grillo now everything goes to hell. Everybody's getting killed. So we realize, abandon that. No cure to be had. I got to go save my family. So he's just like storming through this werewolf ridden city, killing them when he can, escaping them when he has to, and just to get home to his family, who are dealing with a very like vile, very dude bro-esque villain here of a werewolf. That was kind of a cool element to it, but trying to attack this family. So he has to get back, try and save him. So it's a very interesting movie. I had fun with it. Very cool kills, very cool practical effects. I also wrote, just want to cover everything because it was just a lot of fun. yeah, the practical effects are very cool. Visual effects are cool too. But yeah, you could tell it's like the level. It's like a lower budget horror action movie, but well done, well done. And lots of flexing, werewolf flexing galore. And I am not kidding about that. Every time you see like the werewolves, they're like, yeah, like they're like Henry Cavilling it, you know, it's crazy. So, but a lot of fun. Go check out Werewolves if you haven't checked out Werewolves. It's out now. I believe you can buy it. And it was in theaters too, like 2 weeks ago. But yeah, go check it out. Let us know what you think. And next up, Hot Frosty. Oh yeah. Hot Frosty. I didn't know what I was going to think of this one. I had fun with this. It was Netflix's new movie where Dustin Milligan from Schitt's Creek, who plays Jack, the guy in the poster next to me, as you can see, or if you're listening to this, go watch the movie. He's from Schitt's Creek. If you've ever watched that show, he's very funny. He played Ted on that show. And he was funny on that too. In this, he was very funny. He understood the assignment. I have to give him and the rest of the cast -1, and I'll get to it in a second. Everybody understood the assignment on this. Parody the hell out of Hallmark, but don't act the way the characters do in Hallmark, except for Lacey Chabert, who, of course, Hallmark fame, is now in this, and she's playing it very Hallmark. And it doesn't fit in the world that they built here. It was I felt like somebody like Anna Kendrick should have probably been like, that's the like that sarcasm and that snark is what you needed in this comparatively. But it was a kind of a cute story. You know, widow wraps a magical scarf around a sexy snowman, and it turns into him, and they fall in love, and it's a whole journey. But there's a lot of fun to it. I know that feels like I'm underselling it, and I am maybe, but go check it out if you get a chance. It's funny. It's gonna make you laugh. If you can get past Lacey Chabert Hallmark-esque acting in this, just watch the rest. A lot of it's really funny, and they're cute together when they're interacting. But it's just a wild movie. I gave it 2.5. That's fair. This is middle of the road. Like, if you don't check it out, I don't think you'll miss it. But it was fun. It was a little fun watch. You want to watch with your lady or your significant other, you know, whoever. It's a fun watch. So thank you for watching this. Whether you're watching as a clip or watching and listening now. So thank you. Let's get to our final review for tonight. I'm excited. Ooh, this was a movie. This was a movie. Yes, it was. No, I had a good time with this movie. I had to see this twice. That's how this movie needed to be thought about a lot. Actually, let me pull up my other notes on this because I have some. I'm trying to get my notes down and doing better, but let me get it down. Okay, so I wanted to give this right now A+ cinematography, which from Robert Eggers and his team. Like, it was never going to happen. Come on. A+. Killed it. It was the perfect gothic dark movie. I hate a lot of the movies coming out now and how dark they get, whether it be in theaters or on TV. And it's like yeah, I can see like little glimmers of like slithers of light places, but you can never see anything. Kind of like this poster, the poster for Nosferatu. But even that, like, they gave me the beam of light. I appreciate it. Thank you. That's what I need. It drives me crazy how it's been like that for 15, 20 years now. You know, not with everything, but it was happening in a lot of studio movies. But thank you, Robert Eggers and your team, for putting together beautiful work in cinematography and just this was wonderful to watch. Sound, brilliant. It was amazing. Everything was top notch in this movie. Technical, like, it was just perfect. Most of the points that are on the board are mostly because of the technical. And I know Robert Eggers is a technical thinker in his filmmaking, so along with the stories and such that he's trying to tell. But brilliantly, all of it, every team just nailed it. Here's some notes though. So I like the story of Nosferatu. I've talked about it before. We reviewed it. I like the 1922 version for what it is, for technically especially. Another one that was a technical marvel for its time, and just like completely inspired horror in a huge ways. And it was the first time we got to see Dracula technically on screen. So I mean, that is very cool aspect of that. But I realized that this is more based on the 79 version with the story and such. The story's slow. It's good though. I like it. I do like the story. There's a lot of pockets in there where it's like, man, you're really stretching this out, and I don't need it that stretched out. And there's some holes here and there where it's just kind of like, all right, well, why does this happen? Why would he go to her? It's just a whole thing, So when I think about that, and I'm, when I think about those little parts of the stories, but then I still liked a lot of what they were filling it in with. I liked the buildup, but it was also built with a lot of tension and a lot of really great scenes and acting between. One thing I will say is Lily Rose Depp, who fantastic on her way, building up, but she was visibly outperformed in this. I don't know if it was because I don't think she has an English accent, and it didn't feel like she did, but everybody else really did, clearly did. And of course, Willem Dafoe is just Willem Dafoe, but she just seemed like she didn't fit, or she was being outperformed in certain scenes and stuff like that. Good scenes with Bill Skarsgård though. They played off each other really well, and she did really a really good job with the almost, I don't want to say the possession scenes, but they really kind of were these possession scenes and how she acted in them. So a lot of, she did really good work here, and I did enjoy it. But it just that was kind of the glaring, what stood out to me about it. One thing I wanted to point out, and I'm wondering, this is just a theory, but watching a lot of these scenes and how they were filmed and how they were lit and how the actors were sort of talking and how the camera was on them in certain ways, it felt very much like the cinematography and the portrayals of the characters were it almost felt like an experiment as I was watching it. And I really dug it. And what I mean by that is, it was it felt like I was watching a silent film, and they were acting, but they were doing it well. It was like, oh man, this is. But it's interesting because almost like the little pauses you might see in certain ways they look like it. That's what I don't know. That's what I was picking up from it, the vibe, as I was watching it both times actually, especially in a lot of the close-ups. And when you see certain shades of light behind, I don't know how to explain it, and I'm not sure. I'm sure I'm not doing it well, but that's what it just sort of felt to me. It felt like they were almost trying to achieve a look and feel of that we're watching a silent film, but it is we have the sound, and I really enjoyed that. I've really enjoyed that. It didn't feel like I was watching a movie that took place in 1838. It felt like a movie that I was watching take place in the 20s, it was filmed in the 20s, and but it was telling the story of an 1838 movie. That's sort of the best way I can describe what I mean. And I gave it 3.5. I might have to up that to 4. You'll find out on my Letterboxd. I'll know by then, but I'm gonna have to up that to 4. This one really blew me away. This is gonna be on this. We already did our top 10 list for a year, but I will readjust on Letterboxd. But this might be my God. Yeah, it's got to be one of my favorite movies of the year. It's going to be in the top 10 for sure. Even top 5. Just wonderfully done. I have to say one thing because it's not perfect. Oh, maybe this is why it's down to 3.5. that mustache, man. I got what they were going for. And then, listening to Eggers do commentary on it and answer questions about it, like the corpse, like things like that. But like, God, that mustache killed me, and especially with like the haircut. Just like you're murdering me with this one. It's hilarious. It felt, I don't know. It felt like that guy from Reno 911. I can't remember his name, and he had the shades and he had the mustache. That's what it's the vibes I just kept getting from it. But overall, still fantastic movie. Go check it out. I'll give it a 4 stars because I can get past the mustache for all the good stuff that was in it. But yeah, so 4 stars from me. I want to say thank you guys so much for watching the reviews, sitting here with us hanging out. So yeah, guys, appreciate you. If you're coming up in 2025, we have a lot of fun stuff, a lot of podcasts. We have new podcast co-hosts joining and stuff like that. So thank you guys for watching and listening, hanging out with us. And happy holidays if you're whatever you're celebrating, but happy new year. We're going into 2025. We're going to go in strong, have a good time. Hopefully you're joining for the absurdity, but if you're not, that's okay too. But guys, until next time, I'm Mick Manhattan from the Scene Snobs. Make sure to check me out on Letterboxd. You get my written reviews on there. Go check us out on Patreon. You can follow for free, or we have paid tiers as well. But if you follow for free, you get our newsletter, you get all our links, stuff like that, giveaways and everything. So just come on, have a good old time. All the links are down below. Until next time, remember, guys, stay classy in the new year 2025 and be safe celebrating, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.